The 2012 general election, and David Cameron is elected Prime Minister. But the biggest upset was that the BNP came second.
All of a sudden racism was the new black.
The BNP were using very sophisticated marketing strategies at this time to make themselves more acceptable. Like that competition where they had complete the phrase, "I'm not racist, but ... in 10 words or less. Now, I don't think all the people who entered that competition proves that Britain is becoming more racist. I think it was just a really good prize. It's a wick in a castle.
Cameron, young and naive, was actually one of the most terrible prime ministers we've ever had, and lasted only 20 days. He legislated for all drink to be accessed via a solicitor.
Just a pint of London Pride, a dry white wine and a packet of pistachios, please.
Right, I'll get onto that right away. We should have that ready for you in about 2 to 3 minutes.
He said it would be a good idea to have surgeons wear photo masks of themselves, so that patients would find being operated on more reassuring. And he thought it would help race relations if the BBC put on a show called The Black and Asian Minstrel Show.
Even though the show was conceived, like Love Thy Neighbour, for example, with the best will in the world, I think ultimately it did more harm than good. And certainly the riots that followed the first broadcast and the thousands of deaths in multiracial communities across urban Britain would seem to bear that out.
Were you affected by it? No. No, I didn't personally find it offensive because I don't have any black or Asian friends.
I mean, some of the programme makers and indeed the people that commissioned it did go to prison.
Some of them went to prison, some of them were killed, and some of them did the decent thing and took their own lives.
In power, Cameron's behaviour grew increasingly erratic. He poured party money into a Tory television channel.
Now we're also going to take off quite a lot of the hair. We're going to squint the eye. We're going to employ a chin brace which will give that receding jaw look. The eyeballs will have to be inverted before reseating in the sockets.
He lashed out against his opponents on live television.
It's those cuts that I'm determined we should stop, and I'll be joining campaign groups like the one here today up and down the country to draw attention to these cuts and say...
One of his aides came up to me and said, if I go to the police, he will kill my family.
And finally, he committed the dreadful, hideous act that he's now very famous for.
I think the shocking thing was it was in a church. At least I think that's where it started.
I mean, he must have been planning it for months. It was bad. He was sort of balletic.
I don't know what was worse, the sight, the sound, or the smell.
I just felt sorry for the people in the front row because they got a face full of it.
I mean, things are calming down between the Muslims and the West, and he goes and does something like that.
I felt sorry for Mingus Campbell because he tried to stop him, but it looked like he was joining in.
Yeah, even to this day, nothing will grow on that ground.
Cameron was forced to call another election.
His manifesto was a blank page with the words "Time to Dream" written at the top.
His first party political broadcast left everyone baffled.
About what people's experiences have been and the relationships that people have, whether they've been born, whether they've been in the army or whatever, they went into politics.
Ever I saw your face.
The relationships that people have, you have to transfer them. Don't let them.
I thought the sun rose in your eyes.
Now, would you mind just trying on those specs for me? What do you think?
Good, very good.
You like it? So, a good start. Let's see. Will it or won't it?
Cameron was doing badly. The Tories were trailing the BNP. Everything now hung on his eve of poll rally.
Things can only get better. Better. Now that I'm proud of you. Things can only get better. Better. Now that I'm proud of you.
Cameron was sacked on the spot.
People still remember you as
yes.
one of the shortest-lived prime ministers of all time.
Yes, well, 20 days is a long time in politics. It's the equivalent of 480 hours, which sounds a lot longer than it actually is.
The next day, the BNP was the largest party in a hung parliament. BNP leader Diana Tinkman now had to choose between Conservative or Labour for a coalition.
It was really hard to choose. It's like if you're in a room with Dermot O'Leary, Jamie Theakston, Patrick Kilty, and you got a shotgun and 2 cartridges. What do you do? You empty 2 barrels into Kilty and then have fun with the rifle butt.